We are back again. This is episode 8 of Third Floor Theatrics from beautiful Studio 26. I'm Darren.
I'm Noah.
And what's our topics for tonight?
Well, we're going to be doing a little bit of a two-parter. In the first topic, we're going to be talking about reality TV shows and the Hallmark Channel.
Oh boy.
And then in the second part of the podcast, we're going to be talking about politics. But we're going to keep it to where we don't list any political parties, we don't list any names. We're just kind of going to be talking about how politics makes people act
and vomit profusely.
Yeah.
Okay, so
your discretion is advised.
That's right. So reality TV and Hallmark Channel.
Yeah.
So, are you a fan of either one? I guess.
Heck no. Let's kind of talk about how this even became an idea for the podcast, like how this got brought up.
From what I remember, we were at work on break. And there was they have the Hallmark Christmas movies, Hallmark Channel Christmas movies that play. I think they play year round. I don't know. I know they play. They play in the summer, and then they play, of course, at Christmas time. But they seem like they're always on. And I think we were just. There's a running joke with one of our coworkers. I'm always like, "Hey, Hallmark Christmas movie," and she's like, "Nope, not a fan." But I think we just said, "Oh." We just started talking about sort of the ridiculousness of those, and I think that's how this became a topic.
Yeah, same way with kind of the reality TV show with a certain channel in particular. It was on in the break room, and we were like, "These shows just suck."
Yeah,
and that was before we even recorded any episodes of the podcast.
That was before we even started talking about podcasts.
Yeah, so this one's been a long time coming.
Right.
So yeah, you want to kind of give your take on let's start off with the Hallmark Channel.
The good old Hallmark Channel.
Yeah, the copy and paste movie producer.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
I think you know exactly what I mean.
I don't watch the Hallmark Channel, although I've seen, it seems like it's always on at work. I don't know, why that is. I don't personally know anybody that watches them. Although I know I was at some Walmart recently looking at movies, and I look over and there's Hallmark Christmas Channel DVDs.
Oh boy!
So they're putting them out on physical media as well.
That's a problem.
To me they must be super popular because they do a ton of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, and sometimes you see actors on there that are like well known. I mean, there's like people that were in other TV shows or movies that are well known, and for some reason they're doing these Hallmark channels. I think there's it's almost like horror movie fans. There's like a cult following for these films, and I think the mainstream people may not be watching the Hallmark Christmas movies in August, but I think there's definitely like a group of people that love those films.
My grandpa does.
Your grandpa, not your grandma.
Grandpa.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Not your grandma, your grandpa. I guess that's strange. I don't know. They are sort of like soap operas in a sense that everybody's perfect. Have you noticed this? Like everybody in the Hallmark, like everybody looks perfect. Their hair.
Snow is perfect.
The snow's perfect. The hair's perfect. The makeup's perfect. They wear nice clothes. It's all like upper middle class. Everybody in those movies that I've seen, they're extremely well kept. And, it's the same story. It's like, Mike's going to sell the inn. Mike's selling the inn, and this girl comes to town who he used to know, and she split up with her boyfriend or husband, or something happened.
And she doesn't like Christmas.
She's sad. He's going to sell the inn, the family inn or whatever, and then somehow she convinces him not sell the inn.
Yeah.
And then
see, it always starts off with the two people not liking each other and one of them not liking Christmas, and then they all come together.
They all come together. He saves the inn.
Mm-hmm.
They have a kiss at the very end of the film.
Yeah.
And the music plays. I don't know where they film those. You know,
Wonderland.
Well, I don't know if they film those like. I think a lot of those are not filmed in the winter because I never see the actor's breath like out in the cold. They're always out. They're always out bundled up with like coats on, and somebody's drinking cocoa, and it's very like romanticized. You know,
the ideal winter scene.
It's like the ideal winter scene, and it's almost like this is how we wish life really was.
Yeah. Not you though. You hate the snow and you hate the cold.
I hate the snow and the cold. Now if I was on a movie set that was 70 degrees and they had fake snow and I could fake it, yeah, that'd be okay.
Yeah.
But no, they're just very there's a formula there that's the same on every film.
That's why I said copy and paste. They do the same thing over and over again. Like these shows, after watching the first 10 minutes of the movie, you can predict the whole movie. And it's like, I don't know.
I think there's a lot of movies. You get the Hallmark Channel and then Lifetime. Lifetime, which is, what is it? They call it the Woman's Network? I think they do. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But TV for Women or something. I don't know. I thought that was one of their catchphrases. Maybe I'm wrong. But they have a lot of those same type movies on there. Now Lifetime has a lot of their sort of Hallmark is the Perfect Christmas, Mike's going to sell the inn, blah, 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 and all that. But Lifetime has some of that too, but Lifetime has a lot of the women who go nuts and kill their husband type movies.
Oh.
A lot of the murder sort of, the marriage gone wrong. So the Hallmark is like overly optimistic and happy, and Lifetime has the darker subject matter. But they all make those. They make tons of those made for
TV movies,
cable TV movies, and I don't know. Hallmark used to. I was talking to Ian, my movie partner, and I mean we got to talk about this too somehow. Probably because me and you were talking about it, and he said, there was a time when like Hallmark would do like fantasy type movies like wizards and he said we'd have like big stars and it'd be some movie with like a fantasy type theme of like not like Wizard of Oz, but one of those kind of Merlin, and I think they did a Merlin series. I
know there was a Merlin series. I don't know what channel it was on though.
It may have been Hallmark. I don't know, but
you think it'd be on the Sci-Fi Channel?
So do you see the appeal of Hallmark? I mean, even if you don't watch them.
Honestly, the only reason I think Hallmark Christmas movies are as popular as they are, it's not for the quality or the story.
Yeah,
it's not.
I think they're well made.
I think it's
for what they are.
I think it's just that there's not a lot of new Christmas movies on a lot of times. Like when people,
unless it's Hallmark.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's by the truckload.
But I think it's like every year people will tune in because they don't want to watch the exact same movies they watched last Christmas. Yeah. They don't want to watch I'm drawing a blank. Like the bug standard Christmas movies like Elf and Santa Claus and
Christmas
the
Story.
Grinch. Yeah. Home Alone. Like, because other than like the Hallmark Channel, it's rare that you get a Christmas movie.
No, the Hallmark Channel movies are all, occasionally there's a big one that comes out in theaters.
Yeah.
But the Hallmark ones that they crank out by the truckload every year, those are like, I guess, it's not my cup of tea.
No.
And it's not my type of movie, you know that. But I guess the positive about it you could take from it is, if people who are fans of those, it is a positive, sort of heartfelt, uplifting story. I guess in the way the world can be, I guess if someone wants to zone out and watch a Hallmark movie, kind of like we zone out and watch Marvel movies.
Yeah.
There's no harm in it.
No. But I'd rather have like them instead of cranking out all these new Christmas movies every year,
crank out a Hanukkah movie.
I'd rather them crank out like three better
the entire year.
Yeah, just have because
it would be interesting to see how many they do a year. Like
how many new
I know they
Hallmark movies.
Well,
they have
they have like Christmas in July where they start showing those again in July.
Yep, Grandpa watches those too.
He gets sucked away into the.
See, okay, this is kind of. I hope he never listens to this because this is kind of embarrassing for him. My grandpa, he's a tough guy. He's a worker. Worked his whole life.
Tough.
Knows how to do everything.
Right, tough man.
But the thing is with Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
Every year, he watches these Hallmark movies. And he always cries.
Really?
And he's not a crier. I can't think of anytime I've seen him like cry.
You think
but these Hallmark movies, he always cries. And my grandma don't cry. And she's like, he's over there crying at these Hallmark movies. They get him every time.
So do you think it's like he puts himself in the place of that guy, or
I honestly have no idea. It's a mystery.
It's a mystery, people. Grandpa's watching the Hallmark movies again.
Yeah, Grandpa, if you're watching this, sorry to throw you under the bus.
Chances are he's not listening.
Yeah.
But this would be the one episode he'd tune in.
Yeah, he'd be like, oh, I see the Hallmark Channel. I'm watching this one.
And then he'd
like,
be...
oh, that kid.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's no harm in those movies. They're pretty much harmless. And I think there's it's almost like women who read romance novels. I think there's it's a genre that and I'd say the audience is predominantly women.
Mm-hmm.
Your grandpa obviously is watching, so there are guys that watch it, but I'd say it's geared mostly towards women and the whole romantic Christmas thing. And so I think you got people who love Christmas, they love the season, and they love the romance aspect of it. And so they tune in. But it's like everybody's perfect. Everybody looks perfect, dresses perfect. The women are all beautiful. The men are all handsome. There's nobody from Ugly Town that shows up in the Hallmark movies.
You ain't ever going to see Larry the Cable Guy in a Hallmark movie.
I mean, you could, but probably not. He could be the guy running the street sweeper that comes through. But they are very formula, and they are very much cookie cutter, I guess. Like you were using cut and paste, but I'd say cookie cutter is the term also. Yeah. It's like they just took a pattern and went chunk, 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 and it put out a bunch of these same type movies. We could get a lot of hate mail for this.
Yeah, because this might be the final episode.
Well, this might be the episode that gets the most views because people are like just railing against us, going, "We love those movies. We love them, man. We love them."
Yeah. Well, I think the reality TV show, I think we could get a lot of flack for that too, because the channel. Do we want to say the channel that we're talking about?
We don't have to say. We've already said the Hallmark channel.
Let's just go. We're talking about the TLC channel, and like my 600-pound life and 1,000-pound sisters and hoarders and all those shows. It's like they're not.
Well, and but it's not just TLC. There's Discovery Channel does reality. Travel Channel,
with the Kardashians.
Yeah, that's on like E. Travel Channel does all those ghost shows, which are some that I think are more fake.
And the Bigfoot, like Finding Bigfoot. And the new one that they have with the I don't remember the name of it, but it's like the full on rednecks that don't make any sense.
There's one show called Monster Hunters, which is the redneck guys, and that
might be the one I'm talking about.
That's scripted, and I think everybody knows that's scripted, because they always find the monster, but yet you never see it on camera. So they always find the hellhound or the beast, and then the dialogue is so over the top. I'm like, how do I get that gig? Because I could play one of those characters.
Maybe that's what we should start doing. Ditch the podcast and go film some videos out in the woods.
Oh, man. I wouldn't want to fake it. I'd want to go, if I was looking for Bigfoot, I'd really want to look for Bigfoot. But there's, the reality shows, reality TV sort of came about in the early 2000s with Survivor and Big Brother.
See, I don't know.
Those reality shows.
I don't consider those reality shows. But I consider those almost game-esque shows.
They are, but they're considered reality because they're supposedly not scripted, and it's people in real situations. The thing is about so many reality shows, is they are scripted or partially scripted. So,
Mm-hmm.
they shot one of those in Indiana for a while, not like an hour from here.
Mm-hmm.
Porter Ridge. Do you remember the Porter Ridge show?
Mm-mm. No.
Porter Ridge was filmed up around Spencer, Indiana, which is, probably an hour from here or something, but maybe an hour, maybe a little over an hour. But it didn't last very long. I did catch a few episodes, but it was shot in Indiana. It was this guy. I don't remember the guy's name, but he was always shirtless, and they owned like a junkyard, and then this one guy had like pet bears, and it was just,
I don't know.
those the reality shows are not. They're not 100% reality. I think there's a lot of people that come in with scripts and come in with
Well, I think 100% reality would be boring too.
Unless it was so crazy over the top, then it was. A lot of those shows, though, like like a lot of celebrities have reality shows now. Like Gene Simmons from Kiss had a show where it was him and his family, and then Eddie Money had a show. He was a singer. I know he's before your time, but and you just watch these shows and you go, "Is this really happening?" Because some of it just seems so. I think a reality show that is still on, that is not, it's still being produced, is Jerry Springer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Jerry Springer?
A little bit, yeah.
Jerry Springer was, it was always somebody cheating on somebody, or
oh yeah,
and then they would get into a big fight on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And I know somebody that went on that show, and I've heard of other people in the area. It used to be shot in Chicago, so it wasn't that far from here, really. And you would go up there, and sort of you could call those guys, and you could say, "Hey, I want, here's what's going on," and they would just say, "Yeah, come up, and we'll make you, you'll be one of the segments." And I think it was like, because you watch it and you go, "There's no way this is real."
Yeah.
And so it was,
or even if it is real, you're like, why would you want to put that on TV?
Right. But I think it was mostly fake. So I guess the lesson is reality TV is not really reality.
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean,
reality isn't real.
Like to me, what would be reality is watching a documentary about a person or a place or a thing, that someone has really investigated, and they're trying to tell the truth, and they're trying to tell the story of that person or thing. That's reality. It's a documentary. But when it's so over the top, sensational, the Kardashians, a lot of that's scripted.
Yeah.
They're telling them what to say, and someone's writing a script. And are you a fan? Are you a fan of those?
No, not at all. I just there's so many people, and some people that we even work with, that love the 1,000-Pound Sisters and love all those kind of TLC shows.
Yeah, My Strange Addiction, and
it's
remember that one?
Yeah,
My Strange Addiction. The
guy wacky.
I don't know if it's still on, but the one guy had a love affair with his car.
Yeah, we both seen that one. At least clips of it.
Yeah, and then there was the woman that used to take baths in bleach. And then there was the woman that was eating her dead husband's ashes. And I'm like,
girl eating her mattress.
Was that one?
Girl, and then a girl was eating bricks, and there was one with cat litter, I think, too.
Eating cat litter.
It's really.
So you gotta say, okay.
Malfunction.
You gotta say, okay. So is that really happening? Is that real, or are those people screwing with producers? Like, let's say they're not really eating cat litter, but they're gonna go. They're gonna call up and go. They're calling up the producers, and they go, "Hey, yeah, I want to be on your TV show, My Strange Addiction." And they go, "What's your addiction?" They go, "Well, I eat cat litter." And they go, "Really? Well, we'll be right out to film you. We'll send a crew out." And then they're not, it's all fake. I mean, I don't know. Because some of those things, it's like, there was one episode where, a husband and wife were addicted to enemas.
I've seen that one.
The coffee enemas?
Yes.
Where they'd lay on the floor and read books while they were giving themselves enemas?
Yeah.
You have seen that.
I've seen clips.
So
I've never seen a full episode of those shows. I've only seen clips of it on YouTube.
So the question is that real?
God, I hope not.
I mean, really hope not. That's one that you just watch and you go, okay, is how many of these people are screwing with the production company just trying to get on TV?
The commitment is there though. Like if you're giving yourself a coffee enema and eating cat litter, then you deserve your spot on TV.
Well, or you don't deserve your spot on TV. But if you're, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. It's pitched as total reality that that they're doing stories on these people with these eccentric, whatever.
I think that's a lot of the appeal too. Why so many people
It's
like
shock
that
value.
show. Yeah, well, shock value.
That one is for sure shock value.
But I think a lot of it is people watch it and they see these strange, out of this world characters on there that are meant to be real. And it like makes them either feel better about themselves or they're
that could be
like, look at all these weird people. And
I'm normal. They go, I'm normal now. I look what they're doing. I mean, I thought, one of my strange addictions is not really a strange addiction, but when I was younger, I used to run cookies under the faucet.
Oh God.
You know this story.
Yeah, I've seen it happen. It's horrifying.
So I never liked milk, right? And this is, people think I made this up, like this, just to freak people out. Or when I was a kid, I would come home and I hated milk. And this is back in the day before you could buy like almond milk.
Yeah.
You could get like soy milk, but it was like you had to go to like health food stores. It wasn't like, hey, I'm going to go to Walmart and buy whatever. So I hated milk. So I would come home and I would get an Oreo or chocolate chip cookie out of the cookie jar. And I would just run it under the faucet until it got nice and what I call pulpy. And just soppy, just falling apart. And I would just eat it. And I did that for years. And so then when I
still do it.
I do it now just to sort of freak people out. But at the time I did it and, people would go, I years later told people and they're like, no, you don't. I go, yeah, I really did. And they thought it was something I made up. And no, I really did it when I was a kid, like that. And eating orange peel. My strange addiction is I eat orange peels.
You should be institutionalized.
But yeah, so what? I'm going to call up this show and say, hey, I run my cookies under the faucet, and they're going to come and film me running cookies. And
You should. Let's call them and see
if I can get on TV. I don't know. Reality TV, take it or leave it. Love it or hate it. It's popular. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
No,
it's been going strong for probably 20 years now. Different.
I think it's
shows.
I think it's just like a guilty pleasure for a lot of people.
That and the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah. Well, the Hallmark Channel I can kind of understand because there's not a lot of options
for Christmas movies. But the Hallmark Channel has to do other movies besides Christmas.
And I don't know what they do other than Christmas
we'll do some research and we'll see what else they produce besides the. I'm sure they do like, the show where the rancher is going to sell the ranch.
Same thing, just not Christmas.
Same theme. You just
remove the snow.
You just remove the Christmas theme and the snow, and it's the same thing. It's a rancher losing the ranch. The girl comes back to town. She's divorced. Then they never got along, and by the end of the show, they're a couple, and the ranch is saved.
Yep. Hoorah!
And there's probably Halloween themed ones like that. There's probably summer themed ones. I mean, that is sort of the formula of Hallmark. Just change the season or holiday, and you've got a Hallmark film.
Yeah,
we love you, Hallmark. Don't sue us.
Yeah,
we love your cards.
Yeah. Do we still have the Hallmark store here in town? Or did they?
It's still
get
here.
rid of that?
Yeah, it's still here. It reopened. It was closed for a couple years, I think. New owners took over.
But they're too busy. They had to pull all the staff to film more movies.
Yeah,
had to fly them out. God, I don't know. I don't even watch live TV anymore.
You don't have to though. I'm sure you could pull up. Hallmark probably has an app and
I don't have it,
or at least you're not telling us.
No,
and then there's tons of reality stuff even on YouTube or.
Yeah, and that's where I've seen it. It's like people making fun of it.
Yeah, all those channels have apps though. I mean, all of them, Discovery Channel.
Everything has an app now.
And Discovery Channel is known for or Discovery or there's another channel. ID Network is it's known for its like crime stuff.
Yeah.
and like it's murder shows and shows on serial killers, and so they all have their niche, what they focus on. But
yeah, I don't.
Anyway,
I can kind of understand the crime one, like because there's been a lot of popular crime shows, like
right? And there's a lot of unsolved. Well, but I'm talking about real crime. There's a lot of unsolved real murders and stuff. And
isn't it strange the fact that so many people have a infatuation with murders and all that kind of?
I mean, it's a popular topic.
But
popular.
isn't that like actually kind of weird to think about? Like, why do you enjoy watching so much?
There's a couple that I watch that like certain cases that I've followed that that anytime they do a documentary, I'll watch it. And for me, I try to think about, like, if it's one especially unsolved, I'm like, what's it going to take to solve this? Is there any clues that no one's looking at? So for me, it's the aspect that, it's like, I kind of want to see it solved.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious about, like, why can't they solve this? Now, as far as someone eating gravel,
yeah,
or cat litter, or
you just want to tune in next week to see
having a house full of balloons or whatever it is. Well, that was another one. I mean, you kind of laugh, and you go, man, that is crazy. But
yeah, I think that's all I got to say about that topic. After really talking about all of it for the last 30 minutes, I'm like,
you're gonna go tonight. You're gonna watch the Hallmark Channel.
No, I'm just.
You're sad.
I'm gonna put it out of my mind for a while.
You're sad for a while.
Yeah. But yeah, so let's transition into the next topic.
Another equally depressing topic.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about politics.
The politics of loneliness.
No,
not that. The actual politics.
Yes.
Okay.
Like I said before, we're not going to be talking about the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, anything like that, because that's too hot of a topic that we want to touch, or we don't want to touch.
Yeah, we don't want to touch that.
But what we are going to talk about is how politics will make
people nuts.
Yeah, the effect that it has on people is insane. You would think, just, I don't know. You can go ahead and start.
Let me kick this off. So yeah, politics, smolitics. Where do we begin? So I am not a political person. I never have been. That's not to say that I'm not voted. I've been voting since I was my early 20s. But some people get so obsessed with politics and so obsessed with parties that they, and I think some of that is people just want to belong to something. So they think if they belong to a certain party, well, that's their, and everybody follows sort of their beliefs, and that's where they end up in whatever party. But I think some people just are obsessed with politics, and it's just, I think that whatever side you're on, whatever party you're on, you almost could be, people will vote for a chimp if that chimp is in their party. So it doesn't matter. They don't care. Like, no one looks past common sense, or no one looks at common sense, or they don't look at anything. It's just like, well, hey, Mike, I use Mike a lot for some reason in my descriptions. Mike, we're gonna or how about Bobby? Bobby, this is our new candidate. It's a howler monkey, and he can't speak. He can't speak. He doesn't know any language. He doesn't know English. I mean, no language. But he's our candidate for the whatever party. Somebody's gonna vote for that monkey. Somebody would vote for that monkey simply because that monkey's in their party. You see what I'm saying? And I seriously believe that.
Yeah, you're 100% right. That's the sad truth.
And I think someone could even, and this goes even crazier. They could even have a inanimate object and say, well, that lamppost is He's in our party.
Yeah.
And he would get, that lamppost would get votes.
Yeah, he'd get near 50% of the nation's votes.
So to me, I really feel like the political parties are like cults.
Yeah. I think, and you can believe what you want to believe. You can stand up for what you want to stand up for. But when someone is opposing you, and it's all opinions, it's not actual facts, and I don't care what people say, no political party is 100% factual in their beliefs.
Right.
A lot of things are opinions.
Right.
So when you get so angry, especially with people that you like are friends with or family with,
mm-hmm.
and you let the politics consume how you feel about that person,
right.
and you get angry with them, I think that's where it really starts to have a problem. And I've seen that happen many, many times.
Right. Well, I think politics are, it's a good way to screw up friendships.
Yeah, it's a good way to ruin Thanksgiving.
It's a good way to ruin the holidays and friendships and people you work with, and you sort of have to overlook that stuff because.
Or just don't bring it up at all, especially if you know someone.
Well, there's a reason they say don't talk about politics and religion. I mean, there's a reason for that, you know. But I really feel like they're cults. I really feel like both sides, it's a cult. You know, it's like people will give their firstborn child, you know, or they'll give their life for this cult, and it could because the leaders are like cult leaders, and they will follow these leaders to the ends of the earth. And you know, the sad thing is these political figures,
they don't care about you.
They don't care about you.
They care about votes, power, and money. I
would say on a local level, they might care about you if they're like a mayor in your town, or because that's somebody that you might know that person. You may have personal friendship or knowledge of that person, and they're local. They're in your area. But the big fat cats in DC. They're in it for themselves. They're in it for the votes, the money. Those guys are all, I mean, so many of those politicians, especially the ones that run for president, they're all rich.
Yeah.
They're all rich before they get in office. They've done, you know.
And they're all really old.
Well, that's something that's always talk about, trying to get younger people in politics. But yeah, they're older typically.
Old white guys.
Old white guys.
Except Obama.
Yeah, and he was a middle-aged black guy.
Mm-hmm. I liked Obama, though.
But, you know, we weren't going to use any names.
God. Okay. Cut.
But I just feel like, you know, they are in it for themselves. They're in it for the money, and they get their followers, and they get their people who vote and get them in office. But you know, they say what they want to lure the side in, you know, to lure their side in.
False promises.
A lot of false promises, you know. If I can get up on a mic stand and say a bunch of crap and tell you a bunch of crap that you want to hear, you're going to vote for me. And then when I get in the big house in New York, when I get in the big house in DC, I don't even know where the capital is at this point. When I get in the big house in DC, I don't have to follow through with that. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
There was no contract written up.
No, what are you going to do is some poor sap in Iowa somewhere who's going, well, he said he's going to do this when he got in. He didn't do it. Well, it's too bad at that point. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. So you say what you want to get the votes, and you make these promises, and you say you're going to fix this and fix that and do all this amazing stuff. And so you get the votes. And you get in, and then the little guy gets swept to the side. Well, thanks for your help, buddy. You got me in office. I'll never talk to you again.
The rich stay rich and powerful, and the middle people and the low people don't matter.
And most of the people in the country are the middle people.
Yeah.
You know, most of the people in the country are the middle class. You know, like I said, I'm not a political person. I have always voted, but to me, politics are a crap racket. It's a racket, and it's crap, most of it. And you know, it's just you know, I don't have much use for any of the politicians out there. I really don't. None of them.
And I agree. It's just, it's not a fun topic to talk about, and it's really not fun when you're talking about it with somebody that
is against you, or the opposite of you.
And there's been some people out there that I've talked to, and they will have a real conversation with you. They will treat you with respect, regardless of your opinion, and they will sit down and have a actual intelligent conversation with you. Not saying if I was to say one opinion, they would just completely lose it. Be like, nope, you're dead wrong. Like, they will actually listen to you, hear you out.
Right.
And if your reasoning behind your opinion is good enough, they're willing to change their mind. And I've talked to people like that, and it's great. That's when conversations like this are good.
Right.
But 99% of the time, they're not.
Right.
And Facebook doesn't help with this either, because you got all sorts of people posted on Facebook. I've heard lots of people remove family members, remove friends, because all they post is political stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, it's to me, it's become like a hobby for a lot of people, that they're so wrapped up in politics and they can't see past the reality of what it really is. I don't know. I just, it's people just get so wrapped up in their party and so wrapped up in the politicians, and it doesn't matter what party it is. No. Either side. You could have the party of it doesn't matter. They just get so wrapped up and so consumed by it, and they just go on this rant and tirade and just because they feel like it's, if you attack their candidate, they're getting personally attacked.
Yeah.
And people, I'll never understand why, because like I said, most of these guys are fat cats. They're rich. They've got the money, they're loaded, and they've got, the aspirations of political power. They want power.
Yeah.
And, so you got some poor dude in, Iowa. Last time it was Iowa. This time we're going to say
Nebraska.
Poor dude in Nebraska. And he's just ranting and raving about his politician, his candidate, about how amazing they are. And at the end of the day, this guy's like, the guy he's, talking about is some rich dude that's got a driver and a limo and an estate and a couple million in the bank and blah, 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 blah. And this guy's can barely pay his bills, and he can't afford to buy groceries. And somehow he just knows that his candidate's gonna help him out. At the end of the day, it's probably not gonna help him out.
I'd say like 99% of politicians are going to put themselves first over someone else or a group of people.
Right.
Like if what they're going to do or vote on or anything like that, if it's going to hurt them, they're not going to vote for it. It could make a lot of people's lives better, but if it's going to make their lives harder, they're not going to vote for it. And that's how it is with both parties. It's a corrupt system that, it's a lot better than some country systems that they have for political stuff.
I think
there could still be a lot of things that could get changed for the better.
Is America a great place? It can be. Is it the best, greatest country in the world? Yeah, it can be. But there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. I don't have much use for any sides. I don't follow either side per se, and I don't have much use for any of them. I'd say scrap them all and start over. We could go that way and say, okay, you guys have been in office. Some of you guys have been in office for 40, 50 years. It's time to go. We're going to get new people in and start over. Maybe it would be better. Maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. That's remains to be seen. But yeah, I've told people, speaking of Facebook, I've seen people post a lot of stuff on Facebook. And I said, look, a friend of mine posted something a while back, and I don't even remember who it was for or what it was about. I'm like, look, focus on your family, focus on yourself, focus on your friends, focus on your neighbors, your community, your coworkers, your buddies, your fellow church people, whatever. Focus on the people you know. Focus on local politics. You know, somebody who's running for mayor or running for city council. Mm-hmm. Focus on stuff that really impacts you on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the crap that goes on in D.C., a lot of the crap that goes on in Washington, I mean, it's just, you know, you need to just focus, you know, quit thinking so much about politics. Quit thinking so much about whoever's running or whoever it is. You know, people running around with political shirts and crap like that.
Oh my God.
It's like, I've got a picture of so-and-so on my shirt. It's like, well, why don't you have a picture of Satan on your shirt while you're at it?
Yeah.
It's like, I just don't have much use for those people. And I'm just, I think there's more to life than politics. I think there's more to life than Washington D.C. And I think there's, when it's done well, it's good. It's good for everybody. It's good for the population and the U.S. When it's not done right, it hurts a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And, but like you said, it's very corrupt.
Yeah. I think the main problem is that people get so obsessed with, the one party, this is their ideas and beliefs. The other parties is this and that. Mm-hmm. And instead of like working together, depending on who's in office and everything, they stick to their beliefs instead of kind of meeting in the middle on some things. And it's just so cut and dry.
Right.
Like it doesn't seem like they have conversations about, well, you know, we could change this and this is your idea. And, you know, that's a good idea. The opposite party could have a great idea, but if it's going against the other party's belief, they're like, screw that.
In any way at all. They just, yeah. So you always hear about a day in the past when politicians worked together. You know, you just hear about and I don't know that I ever remember that because when I was a kid, I didn't really pay attention to politics. And even when I was a young adult starting to vote, I wasn't really like politics obsessed. But you always hear about, you know, in the old days, politicians worked together. Both sides came together for the betterment of the country. And like you said, nowadays that didn't seem to be a thing at all.
No, I know I'm not that old or anything, but I can't. When I was in my teenage years, I don't remember the country being this divided. I feel, and especially with, you know, the big pandemic that's going around,
right?
It's divided a lot of people. And the last couple political candidates that we have, I feel like that has really divided people.
Right.
They were both so polarizing. Regardless of who you voted for or who you liked or whatever, they were both polarizing figures.
Right.
And I think just that horrible mix of polarizing figures, the pandemic, the vaccine, everything, tensions are high. People are mad at each other. It's like, why don't you believe in what I believe? Like, I'm obviously right. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that's how things should work.
Well, both sides need to work together. Both sides need to come together and put their bullshit aside for 5 minutes and make stuff happen. You know, because what happens is a lot of times one side will have something, and I was like, well, if we can get the other side on board, we'll get this law passed or whatever, you know. And then the other side's like, nope,
never gonna happen.
Veto, we're not doing it. And so yeah, never gonna happen. So they need to put their crap aside and they need to work together. And you know, because you know the majority of people in this country are middle class, normal, average people, and so those are the people that are getting screwed over.
Yeah,
because you know the rich people, the really really rich people, and we hit on that a while back on an episode about billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
The rich people aren't so much affected by this stuff.
No,
because they're so wealthy, it doesn't affect them. It doesn't touch them. But the average guy, you know, this kind of stuff can affect, and so you know, either way, whether it affects you or not, people need to be more civil, and they need to work together, and they need to come together for the betterment of the country. And it needs, I just, like you said, they're people are so hateful, so divided.
Mm-hmm.
People get irate and nuts. People just get crazy over politics. And that's why I say it's like a cult, because your political leader on whatever side is your cult leader, and you're following that cult leader,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll follow that guy to the end of the earth.
Yeah.
If that guy jumps off a cliff, you're going with him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like,
Yeah,
do you have no, do these,
think for yourself.
well, I think
Try
for
to.
yourself and make your own opinions up. And, do you not have anything going on in life more than this?
Mm-hmm.
Do you not have any, does politics have to permeate every aspect of your life? Can you not enjoy your family and your friends and what you do and your hobbies and your pastimes and your job? And can you not just focus on that? I mean, politics just seems to permeate some people's lives to a point of just it just makes you nauseous to think about.
They have their favorite news channel on 24/7.
It's news. It's political news.
Yeah, it's not news, and even if it is non-political, it's always negative.
Yeah. You know what my favorite news channel is? Weather Channel.
Weather Channel? I don't even watch the Weather Channel.
Because it's
I just
just,
pull it up on my phone.
well, I mean, it's because it's kind of a news channel,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not about politics.
No.
I can put on the Weather
Except
Channel.
when the Weather Channel starts talking about global warming.
Well,
it turns a little political.
Well, that's a political science issue or whatever, I guess. But they're all science based on there, so they're talking about weather patterns and stuff. But no, I mean, Weather Channel, you put it on, and you virtually never hear anything about politics. Now if there's a hurricane somewhere and a political figure shows up to help with the relief effort, well, you'll see that. But I just man, it's like it seems like it's gotten worse in the last 10 years at least or more. Political politics, blah, 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 blah. It's just like, God, man, just shut up. I'm tired of hearing about it,
Yeah. And I know we said we weren't going to say any names, but like I already said his name, Obama.
You did. And so we're going to have to edit that out again.
But I think it all started with him. Like, I think this is horrible, but I think a lot of people had problems with him because of his skin color.
You think?
Yeah, I know. And that's really sad. And ever since, he's pretty much the first president that I remember having in office that I was old enough to realize.
You're so young.
Yeah. Well, like I just feel like since then it's gone down.
Down the toilet again. Yeah. There's that toilet reference.
Mm-hmm.
That the unfortunate thing is, and this is the reality we live in, and this just is, whether you like it, people don't want to admit it. If you didn't like Obama, and I'm only using that name because you've already brought it up.
It's already out.
Let's just use him as one example, and then we're done. If you didn't like him because of his politics, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't like him because of his policies, that's fine. If you didn't like him because he was what political side he was on, that's fine. If you had one single problem with him because of his race,
you're a scumbag.
Then you're a jackass.
Yeah.
That should have nothing to do with anything.
Mm-hmm.
It really, like I said, if you're seriously, strictly against him or anyone else for that matter because of his politics or his policies or what side he was on, that's cool. That's fine. You have that right. But if you have a problem with the guy because he was black or mixed race, there's a problem there with that. And that's another topic we could get on. We could do a whole issue on race.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people still that have problems with women in office.
Yeah.
And it's not as much as a problem in lower offices.
No, I think it's smaller stuff, but that probably goes back to the good old boy, old school, old man club. Yeah. If you're a rich old white dude,
world revolves around you.
And you somehow know better than Jimmy, who lives down the street.
Yeah.
We're using names again. Jimmy, Bobby, Billy, Mikey, Mike, Tommy,
Greg.
Tommy, Greg, Craig. If if you're some rich old, rich old white dude, and the reason we say rich old white dude is because that's who's always been in office.
Yeah.
That's
who if it always been in power for a long time, not just office.
If it was rich white young kids, we'd say that, but that's not who's in office. And so if you're that, if you sort of fit into that category and you're in office, somehow you know better than somebody else who's younger or different than you or whatever. Just want to say I don't really I don't have much use for any of these people. And I'm not a fan of any of these people. I don't follow any of these people. You'll never see me at a political rally. You'll never see me wearing a political shirt. I did have a friend that ran for office over in Illinois, and I had her shirt. And I had a picture wearing her shirt because I was friends with her.
Yeah.
But you're not going to see, that was like the one-time occasion. You're not going to see me, waving some flag and out hooting and hollering about some idiot that I don't care about. So you can see where my feelings are. They're pretty strong. Like I don't care about you because you don't care about me, and we should be fine with that. You've got your followers, you got your little minions that follow you around, and let me do my thing. You can do your thing. That's okay as long as you don't hurt people. Yeah. I'm gonna do my thing, and that's it.
It just sucks because their job is to make our lives better.
Right, and that's why they get voted in. Because supposedly they're gonna.
It never works because these people only care about themselves.
Well, yeah, I'd say the biggest percentage.
Yeah,
and like I said, is America the greatest country in the world with all of our freedoms? It probably is. It probably is. It most likely is. I mean, I would much rather live here than just about anywhere because I can be a weirdo here and do my thing, and I don't get bothered for it. I don't, it's not like I end up in some prison somewhere because I spoke my mind. So yeah, it is. But there's a lot of improvement can be made here.
Yeah, I think,
and you could talk all day about the improvements. I mean,
I think going off of what you said is I think a lot of people think that we're the only country with freedoms. And it's like, oh, I'm free in America. Well, you can be free in a lot of different countries now. It's not how it was 200 years ago. Well,
and it depends on the country. I mean,
obviously.
If you're living in England, you have quite a bit of freedom, or Canada,
or Sweden, or a lot of these other well-developed countries.
Right, if you're living in
North Korea, then no.
No, that's if you're living in North Korea, you're probably suffering tremendously, and you're probably starving, and you probably don't have any electricity, and you're
in that sense, yes, it's a great country, but it's also, like you said, got a lot of improvement.
There's a lot
happen.
We can make a lot of improvements. And I that's why I say people need to focus on their local politicians, their the people they know, the people that are going to help where they live, their state or their town or their county, and not worry so much on these rich fat cats that live in DC who are just, like I said, these people live, this kind of goes back to the billionaire. They're not billionaires, but a lot of them are millionaires. And they live high on the hog, and they live, they wouldn't know what goes on in everyday society because they're so far removed from it at this point. I'm just not a big fan of politics.
Let's probably never talk about politics.
This will probably be a one-time political episode, and I don't do politics. I don't have a love affair with, and that's the thing. It's why I say it's like a cult, because a lot of these people, they oh my God, and they act like the politician's like a rock star. Oh my God, he looked at me. Oh my God, I went to his rally, and it's just like, come on, it just makes me want to vomit.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too has to do where you're located.
Yeah.
Like you always got like the red states, the blue states, and everything, and it's weird how that works. And a lot of people will do, as they're growing up, they'll just do whatever their family did. A
lot of people stay within the family politics. Yes. Whatever the family is, they stay. They don't branch out. And I think they're afraid. They're afraid to, because they're going to get ostracized by their family, or they're going to get criticized by their family.
And that's happened to me personally. Like, I've branched off from what my family believes, and there's been a lot of arguments about it because they don't see eye to eye with me, and it's like cut and dry, like, no, you're wrong.
Right.
But I feel like that has a lot to do with my generation too. I feel like a lot of people around my age are kind of it
could be your age, it could be your generation, it could be the state you live in, it could be...
Well, I don't think it's a state, because...
you know what I mean.
You know the popularity of a certain...
party
in our area.
Well, but I'm saying per state, and it just in general, not you, but your family, where you live, your state, your city, it kind of falls a lot onto that. But you have the right to vote and support who you want, and go do it. Everybody should vote.
Yeah.
Everybody should try to pay attention to what's going on and not get too obsessed or too pissed off about it. And actually, because there's people who just refuse to vote. And I'm like, well, maybe you should vote, because maybe you could make a difference. And, if you have an opinion, you might be able to get your ideas through if you vote. So I say everybody should vote and sort of pay attention, not to the excessive levels, and not to where you just wake up and just every day you eat and sleep and breathe politics. I think that's when it becomes like an obsession.
Yeah.
And it's too much. Get a hobby, get something that makes you happy, and don't be obsessed with politics. Just it's because it like you said, it's there's just too much negativity. Too much negativity.
And it's too polarizing.
That circles around politics.
And if you really want to have a conversation about politics, like I said earlier, find somebody that will have an actual conversation with you and will sit down, respect your opinion, and be willing to change their mind. But you have to walk into it too, of changing your mind.
But even if
you don't have to, though.
Yeah, even if you don't change your mind, have a civil conversation.
Exactly.
Bounce ideas off each other, and at the end of the day, just say, okay, it was just our conversation, and you just go about your business. Yeah. Don't leave there pissed off at your friend or that's not the way to do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree with the person, but just be respectful. Even if you think they're totally idiots and don't buy what they're saying or don't agree with it, just be respectful about it. I mean,
I like to go about things and not just with politics, but a lot of things, going into things knowing that I can change my mind about it. Because if you go into anything and you're dead set on something, no matter what, you're not changing your mind, that no progress will ever be made.
Right.
Like, you need to go into every situation thinking, okay, if something happens or something is proven or someone tells me something, I may change my mind.
Right.
And you should, because that's how progress is made.
Right. And if there's somebody that's if your party is putting up that howler monkey or that chimp, and you go, I don't know, I don't really agree with this guy or this girl or this man or woman, I don't really agree with what they're saying. Just because they're in your party, you can vote for somebody else. You don't have to be so
one-sided.
You don't have to be so one-sided. You don't have to be so locked into the cult that you'll vote for somebody that you can't stand. You have the right to vote for somebody else and make a change. So
yeah. One thing before we wrap things up, I do have a recommendation. It's a newer movie on Netflix called Don't Look Up, and it's kind of a political satire. It doesn't tell you that it's a political satire directly, but like you can easily kind of figure it out. But it's got a lot of good points in it about both parties and how things could definitely change for the better. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio in it, Jennifer Lawrence. It's a very well put together movie, I think. So yeah, if you're looking for something to watch, definitely check that out.
All right, there you go.
Okay, and like we always say, thanks for watching till the end. If you made it this far, appreciate it. Make sure you tell your friends. New episodes every Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
All right, and we will see you guys down the road.